Welcome back to Baby Takes. Interesting. We got a big announcement today. Obviously, coming off not too great of a game on a Saturday, but we're going to talk about it and we're going to give you what we think. There was some good things. As much bad as there was, there is some good things. But before we start, I want to mention to follow all the socials: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Posting on all of those. Trying to do daily, gotten really busy recently, so I haven't been able to do daily like we had been doing, but getting a little more free with the TikTok stuff, and I think it's going pretty good. Having some fun over there. So, but big announcement starting next week, we will not be Baby Takes anymore. We really want to replicate what we do, and when we started this, it was talking about just biggest sports news. I think our first episode was like the Shakari Richardson news or something like that. I actually started it before that by myself, just doing all the big sports news. But then we realized that we both like Nebraska. People want to watch us talk about Nebraska because that's what we like talking about. So we want to really replicate our brand and what we're showing you guys as more of our brand to make it easier for you guys to see what we're doing, see you Nebraska fans, show you Nebraska fans that we're also here for Nebraska. We're not just some other random page blowing you up talking about the Huskers for some reason. So we're going to be switching to Big Red Radio. The logo is going to pop up right now on the screen. Really excited. I think it's a really good brand change. I wouldn't say goodbye forever to Baby Takes. Baby Takes is always going to be important to me, at least, because it was like the first thing that I started on my own, first media that I did on my own that I started, and it'll always hold a special place to me. So it'll come back in some sort, maybe not as like a media thing, but Big Red Radio is super exciting. I'm super excited to start this with Zach. Obviously, it's going to be the same content once per week. Nothing's going to change except for the name and the logo. We're still going to talk about the game, still going to talk about the news, just really showing what we're about and what we're doing. So, Zach, before we start, you got anything else to say?
Not a whole lot. Excited to, really cater to these Husker fans since that's who we are ourselves, and that's pretty much what we exclusively talk about now. Just figured we cater to you guys and show you guys that you're important to us, and we're out here to talk to you guys.
Yeah, for sure. So, today we're going to do a game recap. We're going to do our offensive, defensive, and special teams MVP, and we're going to preview next week's game. So we'll start with Northwestern. We're going to start with the positives because I feel like everyone knows the negatives. Everyone's been talking about the negatives for days now, and you're seeing this on Wednesday. So it's been a while since the game, really giving everyone a chance to step back and look at it from an outside perspective and really look at it with a clear vision. So some positives for me is the pass game. I don't think anybody can say the pass game didn't look good. Receivers need to catch the ball a little bit more, but that's just a thing. And then, but overall, I think the play calling with the pass game looked really good. Pass blocking looked really good. I think our offensive line as a whole looked really good compared to last year when we had statistically like the worst offensive line in the nation. I think what we gave up one sack all game, something like that. Didn't get tackled in the backfield a lot. Casey Thompson always had a lot of time to throw, so was super excited to see our offensive line play well. And then penalties and special teams was huge for me. Special teams, the big thing was the players on special teams didn't make a single mistake, in my opinion. Our punter looked good. I'll talk about him a little bit later. Spoiler alert. But punter looked good. Kicker didn't miss a kick. And then overall, I think our returners didn't drop anything, didn't muff any punts, didn't make any mistake. And then lastly, as a whole team unit, I think the effort was there. I think everyone was showing that they wanted to win the game. I think, well, I'll talk about more of the negatives, but yeah, I think the effort was there overall. You could see everyone wanted to win. Everyone wanted to be there. It just didn't work out in our favor. But Zach, what are your positives for this game?
Yeah, I like to look at how the transfers did. That was obviously the big headline going into this season, and so to see did it pay off or not, and I think it did really well. Obviously, start off Casey Thompson had some incredible plays, played incredibly well for. I mean, most of the game he played really well. When he wasn't playing well, I don't know that it was 100% him. Um, I don't think Case Thompson had any bad part of the game at all, in my opinion. Moving on, you have Anthony Grant. Anthony Grant had kind of a rough game, but when you saw him get to that second level, once our O line was able to get that little bit of a push, he was able to get to those backers. He broke off what was like a 46-yard run,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Trey Palmer, him and Case Thompson were just playing catch in the first couple drives, looked really good. And then my standout, just out of the transfers, kind of surprising, was Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. Looked incredible. A lot of people are talking about how Casey Thompson made that play where he kind of scrambled a little bit and then dropped back and threw it. Old IGC, as people are calling him, also did really well on that play by continuing to look for a possible pass there and not giving up on that play either. And so that's what I really liked. To start off was just that the transfers looked really well, and it shows that what we did in the transfer portal did work, and it is paying off. And it's not just something that we went out there and wasted much time on. Other than that, I thought the O-line looked a lot better than last year. Obviously, there's a little more work to be done. Northwestern's got an incredible D line as well as an incredible O line led by the number one tackle in the nation right now. And so that's not an easy task at all, but I think it looked a lot better than it did last year. And then, like you said, as far as penalties go, not nearly as many as last year, not costly penalties that we had that we kept shooting ourselves in the foot on.
Yeah, I would say that's the main takeaway. Was that offensively and special teams didn't really make any mental mistakes. We made mistakes. There was mistakes that were made. Defense, as we'll talk about, I think did make some mental lapses and had some mental mistakes. But overall, I think we were a sound football team. The only problem is Northwestern, as we mentioned in episode 1, kind of has this pattern, and they kind of go back and forth and back and forth. And a lot of people were saying, after the game, like, you guys lost Northwestern, like that was the only Big Ten team you beat last year. What's it look like for the rest of the year? When Northwestern looked like a good football team. Like,
Absolutely.
you can win a game and still look bad. Like, you can tell by winning a game and still looking bad that this team, yeah, they won, but it's whatever. Northwestern looked like a fundamentally sound football team. Their offensive line gave up nothing. I think Garrett Nelson got one pressure to the quarterback, and that was it. On that number one tackle in the nation, by the way. So that speaks volumes to Garrett Nelson. But then, yeah, I think overall the run defense looked really good. I don't think the play calling was bad with the run game. I think the run game definitely needs to get better. Which I guess I'll just start going on my negatives. The run game needs to get better, but I think that overall, I think Northwestern just played a really good ball game, and I think they're going to be a 6-7 win team this year, 8 win team this year, as long as they keep playing like this. Their quarterback came out of nowhere, played outstanding, lights out. So, yeah, I think you take it with a grain of salt. Nebraska did lose the game. And we did lose a winnable game, but I also think Northwestern is not the cakewalk that everyone is saying they are. So yeah, going to my negatives, I mentioned the run game. We need to get the run game going. That's a big thing. If Anthony Grant doesn't break off his 46-yard touchdown, the run game looks a lot worse than it actually did. I think, Anthony Grant's the only person that had over double-digit yards. Our next one was Trey Palmer with 8 yards. Logan Smothers had a 7-yard run. A.J. Allen had 7 yards. Yant had 5 yards, and Casey Thompson ended with negative 18 yards. So as a team, we had 110 yards rushing, 101 coming from Anthony Grant. I do think we have a lot of weapons that we need to get the ball more. Anthony Grant had 19 carries, and then Yant had 3, AJ Allen had 3, and Trey Palmer had 2. So I think overall we can do a better job at getting those weapons involved. I don't know what the deal is with Ramir Johnson. He didn't play it, as far as I know, he didn't play a single snap. But he's just one of the weapons that I think we need to get involved more. And then another guy I think we need to get involved more is Marcus Washington, the wide receiver transfer from Texas. He looked really good in the 2 receptions he had. Caught one, turned upfield, looked super fast. If he would have broke 1 tackle, I think he's gone. Just couldn't get it done. But moving on to the defense, I think that was where most of our mistakes were made. The defense needs to tackle. I mean, these arm tackles obviously aren't working. They weren't working before halftime. I thought it was going to get a little bit settled at halftime. It didn't. It looked like people were just diving. They were diving. So as I said in the positives, they were making the effort, but they were just missing. And then you need to get out of your own way. Like with the 2 of Northwestern's touchdowns were on wide open downfield passes. And I think watching the film back, you see that the safeties are just biting at this play action, which, I mean, it's tough because they were killing us with the run game. But then these safeties just totally sell out for the run, get beat over the top, give up 2 touchdowns that way. You just can't really do that if you want to win these big football games. But yeah, those are my negatives. I just think the main ones are get more people involved, balance it out a little bit. It seemed like we were kind of force feeding Trey Palmer and Anthony Grant. I think IGC had some really big plays. I think he could have gotten the ball a lot more actually. So get more people involved and then get out of your own way and don't make those mental mistakes were my big ones.
Yeah. As far as my negatives go, I don't want to come out here and like bash on any players because I think it's not fair to them. I think they all gave 100% effort. I think they want to win. I think they want to win more than we do. Not, like they're out there in freaking Ireland playing a football game. I don't think that the players really selling out. And I know we have a couple players' parents, players' friends on this. So I don't want to come out here and bash any players' names. But just as far as like position groups go, I feel like the D-line, not necessarily, like you said, like the effort was there, right? I'm not seeing any lack of effort. Maybe a little bit lack of speed at the D-line, the linebacker position. I feel like on the D-line was in their run. Maybe there's a little bit lack of like some technique, especially against a good O-line like Northwestern has. And then linebackers in the pass game looked a little slow. Looked like they were beating us in those like 3-4 yard catches and then getting them to like 7-8 yards because we just couldn't catch them in time. Then our corners would finally come in and get those. And then as far as offense goes, I think we look good. The only time I will talk about a certain player is Casey Thompson. Loved the way he played. The only thing I didn't like about that is his risky throws. I feel like that kind of comes with him playing in the Big 12 and throwing a lot more there than he does here. I think in the Big 10, if you're going to throw the ball, you got to make it count because you don't get a ton of chances like you do in the Big 12, just because of how the game is played and then defenses as well. I mean, other than that, not a whole lot on the negative side. I just feel like on defense, the run really killed us. You see at the end, we punted away with, what was it? 6:30 remaining in the fourth quarter, down by 3. If we get a 3 and out there, I think we win the game. No doubt in my mind. We play loose, we play free. Northwestern was able to go down, get over 4 minutes off the clock, 53 yards exclusively on run. And so we had about 2 minutes to play. And from our own 4-yard line, because of that crazy punt that seemed to
Both the
bounce.
punters played extremely well
Yeah.
in this.
And so obviously that sucks. And we were playing well from there. I honestly thought we had a chance from there. Just a accidental drop there that happened to fall into Northwestern's hands. That's just crazy things that happen sometimes in football. But other than that, and then the well talked about now onside kick. But I do think the kick was a bad call. I think, and Scott Frost came out and said that, but I do not think it was the killer. I don't think that's what lost us that game. Like I said, if we would have got a 3-and-out after punting with 6:30 left, and we have 5.5 minutes to drive down the field and score on them, yes, I absolutely think we will. The play calling is completely different. No, I don't think the onside kick was a killer. I also think had we got that onside kick, people would be talking a little different. It'd be Scott Frost found a way to play risky, finally makes risky play calls. Because before we were all talking about, Scott Frost too conservative, and he goes risky and he messes it up, and everyone bashed on him that way. I don't know. I think it was a questionable call. It wasn't the best call in the world, but if you're gonna be a good football team, you got to bounce back from things like that. Things like that are gonna happen. But yeah, as far as negatives go, that's really all I have on that. And then the only thing I'd want to see a little more of is maybe some Smothers goal line read options in there. I felt like we kind of got stuffed just running Yant at them over and over again. They knew it was going to happen. I watched some of the film. They had 9 guys in the box. They knew that we had a fullback coming and then Yant coming right behind him. I think we get maybe Yant and Smothers in there, run a little read option, open up that defense a little more. Maybe put Palmer and Garcia Castaneda out wide to kind of open up those guys a little more too.
Yeah, we did get. I mean, I would say we got bailed out a little bit on the goal line. Anthony Grant was getting stuffed. Luckily, Northwestern had a penalty on the goal line and gave us another shot, and that's when Casey Thompson obviously out of shotgun ran it in. Which like you're talking about. I think it did help that he lined up at a shotgun, lined up in a little bit of a spread the defense out a little bit because they knew what we were doing.
Yeah, I get like Ant's huge, he's strong, he's powerful, but anyone, I don't care who it is, it could be North Dakota. If they're gonna put 9 guys in the box, it's gonna be hard to get
tough,
in.
right?
So
yeah. So moving on. Before we move on to the MVPs, as you mentioned, everybody's talking about the onside kick. I'm on the side where I don't think it mattered. I think their offense was killing us anyway. I don't think we were stopping them much. Maybe we hold them to a field goal instead, and obviously that changes the game completely.
But they ran for 214 yards and 2 touchdowns. They didn't get any lucky points out there, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah. They earned everything they got, and they got a lot of it. So I actually think in our first episode, we did say it was going to be a closer game. I'm not going to say we predicted this because obviously we didn't. But we did know it was going to be a close game. Northwestern is just one of those teams that is always going to be solid, and there's going to be years where they're not, but then they're going to come back next year pretty solid. So I'm upset about the loss, but I've kind of took a step back and realized that if we're going to lose a game, I'll quote Will Compton here. If we were going to lose a game, we wanted to lose the first game of the year. So yeah, I think it opens our eyes, and I think it's all up from here. 11-1 is still in play, so that's all that matters. Now, our MVPs, a little bit on a brighter note. I think we'll just go back and forth. So I'll start with my offensive MVP. My offensive MVP is IGC. I think if you get him the ball more, he easily goes over 150. The dude was mossing. He had the best play of the game because you got to think about Casey Thompson's. Well, I guess he had both of the plays of the game because he was on the receiving end of Casey Thompson's scramble, and then he got that first touchdown, which was crazy. That first touchdown, man, I thought once that first touchdown was caught, I was like, Nebraska's back, dude. Like, we got this. We got this in the bag. But yeah, I think IGC really steps up this year. Him and Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer could have easily had over 100 yards. He had a couple deep bombs that just weren't thrown right or just great coverage that got broken away. But if he catches one or two of those, I think he goes over 102. And I think Casey Thompson actually goes over 400 yards with that one. So that'd be really interesting to see. But yeah, my offensive MVP is IGC. Someone I expected to be good, but not this good necessarily. So really excited to see what he can do the rest of the year.
Yeah, as far what I'm gonna do for offensive MVP, I'm gonna go Casey Thompson here. I think he really led the team. He stepped in. I also like that he wasn't named captain. I'm gonna step out of Nebraska realm for about 5 seconds here. Adrian Martinez was named captain of K-State's team, and I'm glad he was. I feel like he's a great leader, and I feel like he kind of deserves it. But I do not like guys coming in as transfers and being named captain before they play a snap. And I think Casey Thompson also is one of those guys that's like, I don't want to be captain because I haven't done anything here. Like these guys have, Caleb Tanner has, and Garrett Nelson has, and guys like that that have done things there, whereas Casey Thompson hasn't done anything. But I think even though he's not a captain, he came out and he led that offense so well and played really well. Didn't make any crazy throws, a couple here and there that I thought were a little questionable out of his arm, but maybe he's comfortable in there making those throws. And if he is, then that's perfectly fine with me. But yeah, Casey Thompson has a lot of upside for this, and that's my MVP on offense.
Yeah, for the first half, I think I was probably leading the Casey Thompson for Heisman group. I was buying into that hype pretty heavily. But yeah, my defensive MVP, it was hard to pick one. I originally had somebody, but actually, like 2 minutes ago while we were talking, I switched my pick. My defensive MVP is Marquez Buford. Just made big play after big play. Even like I think on Northwestern's first drive, delivered a huge hit. Receiver made a great catch, held onto the ball, but Buford made a big hit, almost knocked it out. Really set the tone, and then obviously the fumble was his doing. He caught it, or the Northwestern receiver caught it. Marquez Buford chased him down, delivers a big hit, strips the ball. Obviously, that changes the whole momentum. Obviously, that's right before the infamous onside kick, but yeah, made it a 2-score game. Really made it big. Finished with I think 7 tackles. I think he was fourth on the team in tackles at the safety spot. So really, really excited at what Buford could do and what he can do the rest of the season as well.
Yeah. As far as I'm gonna go with my defensive MVP pick, I'm gonna do Miles Farmer here. It just seemed like play after play, I was like, oh, there's Miles Farmer, right? And so he was always up there. He is part of that secondary we were talking about. And so I'm sure he struggled a little bit, but as did the rest of the defense. You're not going to find a defensive guy that didn't struggle last game. It just seemed to be what happened. All the guys seemed to struggle. But he had 5 tackles back there. He had 4 solo tackles, so really like that. And yeah, I think he played really well. I know he did have a stop, and he stopped the running back from getting in the end zone. He was the last guy who saved a touchdown there, and so that was one of the plays that really stuck out to me is that he just stays on the play. So yeah, my MVP is Miles Farmer.
Yeah, that's a good pick too. And then special teams MVP. I believe. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see if we have the same pick. But it was pretty easy for me. Mine was Big Bushini, our new punter. He just really changed the game. And if because Bushini just changed the field, he flipped the field so many times, which is something we've been needing at Nebraska for so many years. It feels like, and obviously getting the D2 punter of the year helps that a lot. So Big Bushini is my special teams MVP. Hopefully he's up for a big time award at the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't know if you could choose anyone else other than my boy Brian Bushini with 6 punts for 283 yards. That's a 47-yard average. 4 of those 6 were down inside the 20. His longest was 50. So that's really good. And we know how well Luke Akers did for Northwestern punting. He had 6 for 245, so he had a 40-yard average. He also had 4 down in the 20, and he had a 49 for the longest. So
yeah, but he had 2 down in the 5 also.
Yes,
he was crazy.
But as far as numbers go, right here, Bushini did just as good, if not better.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, Bushini was great. So yeah, I think that's all we got for the Northwestern game. Yeah, it was a tough one to swallow at first for sure. Got me in the dumps a little bit, as you might have saw it with the TikTok.
Steady trying to find the motive. Why do what I do? And freedom ain't getting no closer. No matter how far I go, my car is stolen. No registration.
It's pretty down in the dumps. But yeah, with the preview. So I'm just gonna do a quick preview. I just got 4 things that I want to see. I want to see tackling improvements. I want to see our defense really play and really hit people and really wrap up and tackle. I don't want to see any breaking tackles, big time runs. So I want to see tackling improved. I want to see a blowout. I don't want this to be close at all. I want from the gate. If we start on defense, I want to turnover and I want to score. If we start on offense, I want to score, then go to defense, get a turnover, score again. I just want to blow these guys out. They are not as talented as us. I don't want any mistakes. I don't want any settling. That's my next thing. I don't want to settle at all. We get up by 21, I don't care. I want to go up by 42. Like, I think this is the game where we really show, like, yes, we lost the game. We lost Northwestern, but we still have all this potential. And I want to see everybody bounce back. And I want to see everybody show that they do have this potential. Like Buford said, he said they played their worst game they're going to play, and they only lost by 3. So he's really excited to see what they can do, and I'm really excited to see what they can do. Northwestern should not challenge us. Nothing. They should not challenge us at all. I don't want to see any bonehead plays. If we make a mistake, that's fine. But if I don't want to see any mistakes made that are just easily fixable, like I don't want to see us get burnt over the top because of safety forgot what their job was, or like I don't want to see us bite to the play action so much that we're 5 yards from the line of scrimmage while the receiver's running in for a touchdown. Like that stuff shouldn't happen, especially against North Dakota. So super excited for this game, and those are the 4 things that I want to see.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go over. It's kind of crazy. So North Dakota had 6 losses last year, all but 1 by 1 score. That's kind of funny. I don't know. Did you watch the Scott Frost press conference today?
I did. What did he say? He's like, they lose a lot of close games. I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, he said, I don't know how someone could ever do that. But I also am with you on the whole blowout. But North Dakota is not a cupcake either.
Listen, they're a D2 team that lost 6 games last year.
They also lost to North Dakota State, 16-10, holding them to 1 touchdown.
Right, but that's a rivalry game. That's gonna be close.
That touchdown came in the 4th quarter. North Dakota was up 10-9, and North Dakota State scored a touchdown.
Okay, but they lost 6 games in D2 last year, and Nebraska at every single position is more talented than them. I would
and this is what I want to see here. Offensively, I want to establish the run first before we even pass the ball. Before we ever pass the ball, I want to establish the run, and I want to put it down their throat. Start it off. We know the pass is there. We know that Casey Thompson can hit Trey Palmer that burns this D2 corner because he's one of the fastest right now in the freaking Big Ten. We know he can do that. All right. So I don't care to see that right off the start. What I want to see is Anthony Grant take one right up the middle and on the, a little off tackle. I want to see Yant get in there. I want to see use that running back room in this game. Another thing I want to see. I want us to use the quarterback room a little more late in the game. Casey Thompson, we know he's good. When we get up by a lot, Casey Thompson has a prone thumb injury that I really would not like to see him get hit on some dumb blitz like North Dakota does, because that's all North Dakota does is blitz on defense. So I would hate for him to get hit, re-injure it. So I want to see Smothers play. I want to see Harvard play, and I want to see Chubba Purdy play in this game. Maybe not all of them, but a few of them. I'd like to see him play. Defense, I would like to see some pressure on the QB. When you got guys like Garrett Nelson, Ochuan Mathis, you got Luke Heinrich back there. Like you got to get some pressure on the Caleb Tanner. You got to get some pressure on the QB. Like you have all the talent to get some pressure on the QB, get some pressure on the QB, and then you got to stop the run. North Dakota is a team that's going to run on you, and so you got to stop the run. And then special teams, I want to absolutely destroy the field position battle. I want to down them inside the 20, if not the 15, maybe even the 10 on almost every punt.
Well, actually, I hope Bushini doesn't see the field at all this game. But
yes, I would hope that as well. But I just think that's unrealistic in any college football game. Really, it's just not going to happen. And so I want to, and then not only that, but on when we return, I want us to not get downed inside the 20. I want us to have enough faith in Trey Palmer. Also, props to Trey Palmer going into the half. Northwestern didn't kick to you. Feel like that's a little pat on the back.
That shows. Yeah, everyone knows what Trey Palmer can do.
Yeah, and so just a little back on that. Yeah, and so that's what I want to see there as far as special teams. And then things to watch at North Dakota. Like you said, not a scary team. They're D2. They lost 6 games last year. But they do have a tough blitz defense. That would be a good test for the O-line, is what I really would like to see out of North Dakota compared to us, is their testing on our O-line with their blitz packaging.
Yeah. So
and one more thing. Forgot this. Should have started off this. But we're back home in the Sea of Red. Casey Thompson, Trey Palmer, Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, Ochuan Mathis, Brian Bushini, Anthony Grant, and then any other transfers I've missed.
I think we have 22 transfers. So
this will be the first time in the Sea of Red, and so I feel like that would be pretty cool. I feel like that will fire you up a little bit. I feel like that's got it. If that doesn't fire you up, see you later, because nothing ever will, right? 90,000 Nebraska fans screaming down your neck for you to win is, and I feel like North Dakota, that's going to scare them a little bit. I don't think they've ever played in a atmosphere like this, so I feel like it's going to be a good one for us.
Yeah, we already did our predictions, our score predictions and our season predictions, but I'll just say that I stick with my prediction. I think it was like 42-7, I think was my final score prediction for this game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I stick with that. I mean, the Northwestern game doesn't change anything for me on how this North Dakota game is going to go. So super excited to see this game. Super excited to finally see a win, knock on wood. But yeah, I do think that we're going to come out on top, and I do think that is going to be a fun game. But
yeah, I'm excited for this game.
So yeah, last time is baby takes. We will sign you guys off. We'll see you as Big Red Radio next week. We'll slowly implement the brand change throughout the week. got some cool logos for it, as you've already saw. So super excited. But without further ado, I guess we'll see you guys next time.